Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It's me, the host with the most, Mr. Daniel Pesci. I am here live in the Solar Pros Facebook group. We are on the second episode of the Big Beautiful broadcast, and I'm happy you guys are tuning in. Last week, we had solar legend Ashton Buswell, Legacy's trainer, friend of everybody. We love him. He talked about how to set and become a legend. So if you're tuning in, we've got a 6th season of the Big Beautiful broadcast coming to you guys live. This is episode 2. And today we're talking about tax help. Tax help. Do you have your taxes in order? Are you making money? How about your back-end system? Is your business dialed in? Are you prepared for taxes? This is something that a lot of pros have not put attention on, and it was the number one most voted on during our poll of content people wanted to see. So I've asked one of the top door-to-door sales tax specialists to come on, give us a little training, and take some Q&A on today's episode. So we're going to bring him on here in a second, but his name is Austin. We're going to bring him on in a second. He popped in for a second. Austin runs Valley Taxes and Accounting, and he's going to give us some nuggets on how we can handle our taxes and be in a good situation. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning in now, go into the comments and tell us where you're checking in from. Where are you guys checking in from right now? What part of the country are you guys selling? Are you excited for November? No Bill November is going around right now, slapping in glass and removing bills. What's going on? Where are you guys checking in from? Go in the comments, type where you're checking in from. We're excited to hear from you on the Big Beautiful broadcast. I'm your host, Danny Pesci. As you guys know, or if you don't know, this podcast is brought to you by DealMachine. DealMachine is the best source for homeowner data. If you're looking to sell virtually, contact up DealMachine to increase some of your looks. And then the other sponsor we have, we're going to talk more during our break, is Volition. Volition is helping you get recruits in the door and building your downline. If you're trying to recruit, talk to Volition. My buddy Billy runs it over there. He's a good friend of mine. He actually sold with me back in the day at Vivint. They have an amazing way to recruit people, and they're going to help you do it too as well. So we're going to hear from Billy later's episodes on recruiting, but today's episode is on tax help. And we are going to hear from the owner of Valley Tax and Accounting, Austin Becker. Austin, welcome to the Big Beautiful broadcast. Thank you for coming in. How are you doing over there on your end?
I'm doing pretty good, Danny. I'm excited to be here. I love the door-to-door community. I just love the hustle, the grind, the mentality. I love everything about my time that I spent on the doors knocking. So anytime I can get a chance to help this community of people, just lifts me up. So I'm excited to be here.
Dude, awesome, man. We've got Brandon Clyde checking in from Boise, Idaho. What's up, Brandon? You slapping glass right now? We got Zach Gomez. He's in downtown Austin. Zach, how are you doing with the SNAPS benefits being removed? I know that, has been a tough situation for you. Shoot me over a Venmo. Happy to buy you a sandwich, bud. Zach Gomez, downtown Austin, literally downtown. I think he's got a tent down there. His last blitz didn't go too well. They cut off M1s. He's in a tough spot. Zach, sorry about that. So, guys, tax help. What are we doing to get our taxes down? I know when I first got into the game, no one really told me how this works. Taxes, what do you do? I got 1099. No one took my taxes out. All of a sudden, a couple years later, had a huge tax bill, had to figure it out, and had to write a big check for money I didn't have. So this podcast and today's note is to how to make sure you guys are prepared for taxes in the future. So I brought in a gangster. Austin's had a good experience. You've been in the game. I think you did door-to-door for what, 6 years or so? Is that right?
Yeah, 6 long, painful, beautiful years of door-to-door. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you sell?
I sold pest control.
Ooh, you're a pesty.
Yeah.
Wow. What markets did you sell in?
I sold in Chicago for 5 years, and then I finished my last year in Nashville. I actually moved to Nashville to open up that location. So that was like my branch, my location I was opening up for the company.
Nice, man. And where did you learn this thing for taxes? Did you go to college doing it, and then you just did pest on the summer?
So like a lot of people probably in this group, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And then I read his second book, and it talked about how you need to learned sales and economics and accounting. And so when I was at school, I saw H&R Block was recruiting for their tax class. And I was like, well, that seems like a good idea. I don't know why I thought that necessarily, but I took a tax class, and then they offered me a job that next tax season. Of course, that's what they were looking for. And then, yeah, for a couple of years, I did taxes during the tax season, pest control in the summer.
Mhm.
Obviously, as you know, my door-to-door income started going up quite rapidly. My income as a employee tax guy did not. So I left
Mm.
full time into door-to-door. And then when I left door-to-door unexpectedly, I called my tax lady, who's now my business partner. She was also my tax teacher and my office manager from back in the day. So
Wow.
we've had a relationship for quite a while. And I called her up, said, "Hey, I'm leaving door to door." She's like, "I want to start my own company, but I need someone with some tax experience, but a little more expertise on the business side of things to help me." So she's kind of our accounting expert. The buck stops with her. We pass through everything for her. So I'm super grateful to have her on my side. And yeah, that's been the story. And then I've been Valley Tax Accounting's 3 years old. I've been full time in the business for 2 years now. So
There you go, man. So fresh off, right around the same time I started up my training company. I think it was when I was in 2021 was my first one. It was that, damn, that's already been 4 years. Wow. Yeah, man. You ever slang anything on the side or just all out taxes?
no, all out taxes. I'm telling you, selling taxes is not too difficult either. I enjoy this sale way more than pest control. So
Yeah, man. I feel you, dude. I've only sold like one or two security systems since I stopped selling. I finished with just over 4,000 alarm accounts sold in my career. And then, yeah, solar's been good. I get a couple referrals every now and then, still have my little side hustle going with that and been selling a couple different products. So it's fun, man. It's
cool.
cool. I definitely like to double dip, running my business and then do a little side hustle on the little cheese on the side. So
Absolutely.
cool, man. Well, guys, if you're watching right now, what tax questions do you have for Austin? He has a training prepared. I've asked him to prepare this training for us so that we can have some legit content going in here to give you guys what you wanted. So we're going to turn the time over to Austin. But while you're watching, be sure to take some notes and then ask any questions you have in the comments. Zach, you don't need to pay taxes if you earn under, I believe that if you earn under $10,000, you don't need to pay taxes, right?
A little bit more nuance than that. Yeah. So the limit now is 15,000. It's under the standard deduction.
Oh, that's way
You
more than Zach made
do-
last summer. So Zach, you're fine. You're well below the means. 15, he didn't. I don't think he hit that yet, but no, it's good.
Awesome. If you are 1099'd at all, though, you usually do have a filing requirement that
Okay.
you hit. Otherwise, you'll pay self-employment taxes. So even if there's a small amount there, we can usually find enough expense to write that thing off. So that's kind of the caveat: is if you have 1099, you need to file your tax regardless. But otherwise, it is 15,000 if it's just like a W-2 employee. Yeah.
Got it, man. That's a big sigh of relief for Zach. But yeah, cool, man. Well, awesome. Let's dive into it. I know I took a peek at what you had earlier, and I know that the group is really excited. This was the most requested subject. So you guys are tuning in. We've got information on tax help for new people and experiences. So if you're brand new, don't know much about taxes, don't have anything together, this is a great subject for you. If you do have everything together, there's some stuff for you at the end too as well. So if you're tuning in, this is the Big Beautiful Broadcast, episode 2, specializing on tax. If you are tuning in, throw in the comments where you guys are picking it, where you're showing up from, and what kind of value you're getting from this, and any questions you have for taxes. So, awesome. We're going to turn the time on over to you. Share your screen, and let's see what you got cooking.
Absolutely. Love to. There we go. Perfect. Just got it shared. We're going to flip through a couple screens here. We already did some introductions, so I'll skip this here. But awesome. Let's talk about, Danny, one of the big questions we get a lot is, hey, what you kind of hit on is, what do I need to do? What do I need to look at when it comes to taxes? And we're going to paint this picture, this roadmap, if you will, some baby steps for the new guys, but also a couple points for the experienced players that we need to take home. But first, I want to essentially, just like sales, I want to create the pain, right?
Yeah.
I want to say, hey, what's the pain of the situation and how do we solve the pain? So a big thing to understand the difference of is between W-2 and 1099 life. When you're a W-2 employee, you're either hourly or salary, right? 1099 is often commission based. With W-2s, your tax is already taken out for you. It's pretty easy, and you're taxed on what you gross, like your hours you make times your hourly salary, right? How much you gross bring in, that's what you pay tax on. 1099 is totally different. Taxes are not taken out. You're not taxed on what you're gross. You tax on what you profit. And so keeping track of expenses is really important because you're actually taxed twice on the profit you have with something called self-employment tax, which is a big thorn on our side. So we'll talk about these a little bit, but I like to share two examples of how powerful it can be if you understand what you're doing to make money and keep your money as a 1099 guy. So one of the simplest examples I give is like me and my stepdad. My stepdad works for the city in which they live. He makes about $50,000 a year. After he takes his standard deduction, his taxable income's $35,000. You factor in all the tax calculation, he pays about $4,000 in taxes a year on his $50,000 a year salary. When I made 50 grand for the first time, it was my second year door to door. I wrote off my expenses. I had some profit left over, and I paid $3,500 in taxes. So just a little bit less than my stepdad. But if you can see my screen here, most of those taxes I paid were for something called self-employment tax, which I talked about just a second. It was the double taxation we don't like. And again, we can get out of that later. We'll talk about that. Second example, run with my mom. Another great scenario here. My mom works for the airport in the city in which they live. She makes about $100,000 a year. Her tax on that 100 grand would be about $12,500. It took me 4 years, my fourth summer, to finally hit 100 grand. I know to the solar guys, that's like terrible. Hey, I was doing pest control money. Okay. It took me a little longer to get to 100 grand, but in my fourth summer, I had about 60,000 in write-offs. And so I paid about $8,800 in taxes that year. So I paid about 4,000 less than my mom, and we made the same amount of money. Again, if you can see the screen though, is 6,000 of that 8,800 was in something called self-employment tax, which again is that double taxation. And so what I'm trying to show here is that you can keep way more of your hard-earned dollars being a 1099 than you can a W-2 employee, because we can be creative, we can be aggressive, we can find other strategies to offset this income that W-2 employees just don't have access to anymore. One thing as well that's really important with this is keeping track of your expenses. So this is baby step number one, Danny, is how do we keep track of our expenses? Expenses are just the costs associated with running your business. So you think of meals, recruiting, utilities, rent, equipment, legal services, your cell phone, the miles you drove, per diem, incentives you give to customers. I don't know if it's as popular in the solar industry, but I was in pest control. Sometimes I'd have to Venmo people their cancellation fee or Zelle them their initial service. Like, hey, I'll just buy your cancellation fee. Just sign on with me today. That was just like the last straw I had to do it to make my commission, right? And so I would do that sometimes. All those things are tax write-offs, but things just get missed all the time because reps don't know what tax write-offs are. They don't know what counts, and they don't have a good system to keep track of them. And so that's what we have. Couple ideas of how you can keep track of these expenses. Number one, you could just use a really simple Excel sheet. Keep how much it costs, the date you spent it, and what it was for. That's not hard. Do it on a Google sheet. Okay. Number two, you can use an app called Rocket Money. They're not a sponsor, Danny. We should probably get them some sort of sponsor for putting them on here, right? But Rocket Money app does a pretty good job helping you keeping track of your expenses as well. It takes a little bit of setup, so that can be tricky. The third option, of course, is having a professional come in. That's what we do at Valley Tax and Accounting for our clients that are making over 250K. We'll just handle all the bookkeeping and tax strategy full-time for them and take care of it that way. We do have a free Excel sheet. It's actually a Google sheet. We're happy to share it. Anyone can copy it and use it. I've catered it specifically to door-to-door. So when door-to-door clients come to me, if they give me their expenses and I don't have something for every single one of these categories, I go back to them. I say, hey, I think you're missing some things. Get me some more expenses. What about this, this, and this? That's where I think the experience that I have in particular with door-to-door is really important, is because I know exactly what you're doing. I know exactly the industry for these guys. I know what expenses we should be keeping track of. So have that free sheet. I think we're going to put my contact details in the show notes, different things like that. So have the guys reach out to me. We'll send it over to them, no problem. So those are some of the baby steps here. Set up an LLC, get your business bank account set up, get an EIN to get paid through that, and then do some sort of bookkeeping option. That's what we really need to have going on. The last step here, what I call our 3 baby steps, is making an S-Corp election. That's what gets us out a lot of that double taxation we were talking about earlier. So comparing me and my mom again as an example, she made 100 grand, I made 100 grand. She paid $12,500 in taxes. I actually only paid $4,600 in taxes. I paid a third of the amount she did because I kept good track of my expenses. I knew what I could write off. I had my tax accountant at the time, which is my now business partner. We had an S-Corp election, and I was able to get out a lot of that get out of a lot of that double taxation. So again, it takes some pre-planning, some thought, some deliberate organization here. I think it's one of the saddest things, Danny, when I have reps come to me and like, hey, Austin, yeah, man, I made, 80K, 100K on the doors this year. I'm like, do you have your LLC set up? Nope. Do you have any bookkeeping set up? Nope. It just pains me because I know you're going to overpay. I just know it. And so some simple proactivity will save them so much money. I can't even tell you. And some headache come tax season. But those are the three baby steps we really suggest. Have some sort of bookkeeping, get your LLC set up, make that S-Corp election. We can help with all of three of those things in a variety of degrees there. Those are kind of the baby steps, those initial things that I like to tell every rep coming in.
Yeah, and it's funny because bookkeeping. A lot of reps don't want to confront their money. Like me being one of them. For years, I never want to look at what was in my account. I just knew I had to outwork what I spent, and it was I got some bad information. And the thing is bookkeeping is one of those things people don't want to spend money on because they don't want to actually look at what's going in and what's going out. But really, to be in control, I found it's so important to consistently look at your financial situation, what money's coming in, what money's coming out, so you actually can be in control. Because if you're not paying attention to it, Grant Cardone talked about it as your money is like a jealous girlfriend. If you don't give it attention, it's going to go find somebody else. So it's one of those things I've really, every week I get with my team and I look at the numbers to see what's going on. So it's crazy for the amount of money we make as solar reps and door-to-door guys that no one's paying attention to any of that stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost every single time I have a rep come to me, hey, Austin, I want to start using for tax. I got a referral here, whatever. Mike, cool. Do you have any kind of rep keeper? Are you keeping track of your expenses at all? No. I'm like, guys, that's like the most important thing to save your dollars. That's the best tax advice I can give anybody is what do I do to save a tax? That's the best thing is keep track of your daily expenses because you're already spending the money. And are you going to remember the expenses now? Or are you going to remember them better in April, and 6 months from now? No, obviously you're going to remember better now. So, happens every single time. And it's not that hard. We'll get asked all the time as well, what can I do to save in taxes? Do you have any ideas or strategies? What can I do? And the short answer that most people don't like is, well, I can't help you. Unless you have financial clarity of your business, right? Good decisions come from good information. Unless you have good information about how profitable you are, how much money you're making, and what that's going to mean from a tax perspective, I cannot give you good tax advice.
Yeah.
I give you some general tax advice, but that's not helpful to you. And so we get that a lot as well. Hey, Austin, how can I save in taxes? Well, do you know how profitable you are? Nope. Well, I can't really help you. I can try, but I can't. And so just getting clarity, just like with anything with business, Danny, you know this, getting clarity in your business helps solve so many problems.
Yep. Got it. Yeah, guys. And that's the thing is a lot of people are afraid to get clear on it. So, if you're sitting here watching this, you haven't gotten a bookkeeper, you didn't set up your LLC or make an S corporation, get on it. Like get after it right now. Austin could do it for you or just go to LegalZoom, something like that. But realistically, the point of this training is to get you guys to take action and get your stuff cleaned up because you're making good money. Thing is with taxes, you're going to spend way more if you don't prepare for it now. So I found that out the hard way. This is not my first rodeo dealing with this. That's why it's so important to get this message out there to the community. Like, guys, get prepared for this.
100%. And it doesn't even have to cost money either. Like literally doing bookkeeping on a Google sheet is free. Yeah. Setting up your LLC on like LegalZoom is like $50 maybe, close to free. Like it doesn't cost you anything necessarily. Like to use us, yes, I'm going to charge you for these things. My time's not free, but you can not do it or you can do it for free. Like there's a spectrum of those things. So it's just like with anything, it takes deliberate action, takes focus, priority to make it happen. So,
yep.
I do have some points for veterans if we want to talk about that for a second, Danny, on some high level things that veterans could be looking at for the guys that are like, hey, I've got my bookkeeping, I've got my LLC, Austin, what's next? I got a couple of things for that. If we could go into that, Danny, would that work?
Rip it.
Awesome. So one of the biggest things I see when new door-to-door clients come over to us is, how do I say this nicely? How lazy some other CPAs or tax accountants are. And I don't want to group it as to all its laziness. I'm sure there's a lot that just don't know what they're doing, right? The older I've gotten, Danny, I've realized that Like just because someone is a dentist doesn't mean they're a good dentist, right? Just because someone's a doctor doesn't mean they're a good, like technically someone graduated from dental school with like D's or C's, right? That doesn't mean they were a good dentist. And so it's the same with accountants, right? Not all are built the same, but some of these key things that we see all the time that are just missed and not maximized is understanding the difference between per diem and actual meal expenses. Understanding the difference between mileage and actual vehicle expenses. Understanding the difference between home office standard deduction and an itemized home office expense. All of those things the IRS gives us a cheat code, or we can take the actual, but it actually takes work for us to figure out which one's going to give us our best benefit. How do we maximize those things? So if you have no idea what those are, your accountant's probably not helping you with them, and you're leaving money on the table. A couple other strategies I see not being leveraged a lot. If you're a business owner and a homeowner, if you're not using the Augusta rule, your accountant's just doing you a disservice. That's literally a free expense, essentially a free expense we could be using. Are we looking at retirement contributions? Are we leveraging real estate with cost segregation studies? Are you meeting with your tax professional regularly to do tax strategy planning? Those are the things for the higher level guys that will make tens of thousands of dollars of differences. Of those
Austin, I'm gonna jump in. Talk about cost segs real quick. Cost segregation. This is something I recently found out, and was like, oh wow, this is insane. Talk for people who don't know what it is. What is that? How does it help? And what can they do?
Yeah. So to make it as simple as possible, think about when you buy a piece of real estate, Danny, and you probably had an appraiser go out to the property and say, hey, this house is worth $400,000.
Yeah.
But they tell you the entire cost of the house lumped into one number with one line item. This house is worth 400. That's it.
Yeah.
A cost segregation study is basically an appraisal of every single thing in your house. The cabinets, the light fixtures, the carpeting, the plumbing, the drywall, the roof, the HVAC, literally everything is line itemed out and given a value. The reason they do that is because assets have different depreciable lives to the IRS tax code. So, for instance, a piece of real estate rental property depreciates typically over 27 and a half years, but a car depreciates over 5 years because a house should last longer than a car on the road, typically, right? So those are just depreciable lives the IRS gives us. So if you buy a $50,000 car over 5 years, that's $10,000 a year. That's simple math, right?
Yeah.
Now, things inside of a house, things like carpet, fixtures, cabinets, those things are 5-year property. But if you understand what I just said, typically those are depreciated over 27 and a half years though. So what it allows us to do is you get an appraisal line item by line item of your property, and we're able to accelerate the depreciation on that rental property.
Okay.
And especially with the new Big Beautiful Bill, to go along with the Big Beautiful broadcast, the Big Beautiful Bill that was just passed a couple months ago, it allows us to take bonus depreciation on 3, 5, 7, and 15-year property. So I have clients right now that are buying Airbnb properties, and with a cost segregation study, we're taking $150,000, $200,000 losses in year one to just completely offset their door-to-door income or half of it. And so that's what I'm talking about, right? Is real estate can be a very powerful tax tool if used correctly. You know the rules. We have bookkeeping in place, so we know how much it's actually going to save you. But all of those pieces got to come together, a nice, beautiful bow. Otherwise, you could be wasting time, wasting money. But cost segs are extremely powerful and probably one of the best tax strategies we see right now.
Dang. So take it and just get rid of that income right off the bat.
Yeah, you can just
something Zach Gomez does not have to worry about. Zach, you don't have to pay taxes if you don't make money. You are correct. That's a great way to stick it to the man. Thank you for that share, Zach. Cost segs, huge, man, huge. So if you're a vet right now looking into doing that, we got the expenses here, getting clean on it, strategies. Okay, what else you got cooking for them?
Yeah. So the next piece after that, what I kind of mentioned would really just be regular tax strategy calls. We have a service built in where we take care of bookkeeping for our door-to-door clients on a quarterly basis. We hop on a call, review financials, and then we talk taxes. And we get the craziest questions in there. Hey, this car, this thing, this, what about this? If I invest here, what does this do? Real estate syndication stuff, buying a car. What about this recruiting expense? If I go buy this Rolex, like all these different things that come in that they see on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or another rep told them. We walk through those things. We literally build out step by step. Hey, this would save you this much. This won't save you anything. This will save you this much. You should do this. You should not do this. Those are the calls we're having regularly. And I don't know how else to simply put it. If you're not willing to spend a couple $1,000s for tax strategy to save like $20,000, you're not very good at math, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a simple equation. Spend a couple thousand, save tens of thousands. So that's why I said earlier, Danny, I love selling accounting because it's way easier of a sale than pest control.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
my
They're gonna have
my
to spend. They're spending the money no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's exactly. You're either going to give the money to Uncle Sam, or you can pay me, and then we'll give Uncle Sam less, way less. You keep more,
Mm.
and that's why I really love my time in door to doors, because I know, like, legitimately how hard all these guys work,
Yeah.
and I have bled, I have sweat, and I have certainly cried on the doors, on a curb, at a park bench. I'm sure most can relate to that at some point.
Mhm.
So I've been there and done all those things.
When
So
you-
I definitely want to help everyone keep all their hard-earned money for sure.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to use like my dad's guy, and then the dude just didn't know the game. He didn't know door to door. He didn't know anything about it. And I went to a door to door guy. It was like 10, 15 years ago. He's like, holy crap, man. This is why you don't do the little mom and pop shops by your house, because they just don't understand the industry well. And that's why it's so important to find a specialist. And that's why I brought you on, is because you know the game. You know what guys are doing. You know sales. You know how to write off as much money as possible and as legally possible. And that's why it's so important for guys that are here showing up as a part of this community is keep as much money as you can legally, is get help. So if you don't have it, get your LLC set up, get your bookkeeping going. And bookkeeping's cheap, 100, 200, 300, a couple $100 a month is cheap, right? And then all these other little things is you're going to have to spend that money anyway, just being prepared and, getting the big picture here going. So yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. And, we're going to take a quick second to hear from some of our sponsors. So, guys, if you're tuning in right now, this is episode 2 of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. This is a podcast that we're going to be a broadcast that we're bringing to the Solar Pros group, 6 different subjects, all based on what you guys suggested on a poll that we took in a couple months ago. And so if you guys are tuning in right now, we're going into November. Typically, the weather's a little bit shorter. The sun gets dark way earlier, and it's cold out there for door knockers. People don't want to knock during Christmas time. Facebook ads are super expensive. Tax credits starting to go away. All these problems are coming up, right? So the solution is DealMachine. DealMachine is the best source for homeowner data. I personally got booked by a client to go out and knock doors, and using the DealMachine data, I was able to get the most information I've ever seen knocking on a client accurate. It was actually pretty crazy. And we ended up setting 16 appointments for a real estate company that day using DealMachine. I went out and used it. It was awesome. But the cool part is you need homeowner data. And homeowner data is important to know which is the right place to get it. So virtual prospecting is what DealMachine does. You can find the areas you want to go to and start finding out which homes, which houses will be good. Get that customer's information and target them. Okay, you can get the data off of the app, put it through the do not call list, and start dialing. So if you guys are looking to get a side hustle going in from knocking, get virtual deals going, DealMachine's your person. They'll be able to get you good data, and you can filter out homes between 200,000, 600,000 an area, ages between 40, 75, phone numbers only, no HOA, no solar already or super solar, saturated area, minimum square feet, all of that. You can literally pinpoint the homes that you want to talk to, and DealMachine will be able to get you that, get you a list of all those homes, and you can start dialing for dollars. We have a link for DealMachine in the comments. So if you guys are currently looking to get a side hustle going, sell virtually, or you want to be a little bit smarter on the homes you talk to, reach out to DealMachine. They'll get you lined up. Okay, once you get those deals coming in, you're going to need closers to close those deals. So one of my good buddies, his name's Billy Vergie. Him and I used to sell door to door together back in the day at Vivint, and he's recently branched out and started a recruiting agency. He's taken what we learned from back in the day, and he's filling teams with recruits. So if you're looking to scale your organization, Volition is one of the best recruiting agencies out there. So they get guys on your team, get you out selling and building your downline. So if you're looking to recruit more, reach out to Volition. They'll be able to build you a team with over, I think Billy been about 12, 13 years in the game. Not as long as me. I'm old enough as I'm pretty much father time in the space, going into my 20th year in the game. I'm on my 19th year now, going into year 20. Goodness gracious. We have links in the comments. So if you guys are watching this and you're trying to build a team, do it. get involved, start growing your business. Right now is the time to recruit. This is the off season. It's November, December. People are buying Christmas presents. People are eating turkey, and they're wondering how the hell they're going to pay for it. Well, they're going to pay for it by building a team. So get your team built out, contact Billy, jump on a link and see how they're going to be able to build your downline and having you start running teams. If you're only selling, now is the time to start building a team. You do not want to be on the doors or selling for the rest of your life. Build a team, build a downline, make overrides, and pass on what you've learned. And passing on what you've learned is the reason why we've brought Austin on this right now. He's a tax specialist. He's helping you guys get your money right. So if you're tuning in right now, this is the Tax Talk. We went over a couple nuggets right now. And if you guys don't have anybody doing your books, you don't have anybody taking care of your taxes, Austin's the guy you want to reach out to. He knows the game. You're located, what, in Utah, right?
Yeah. That's where our company headquarters is. Yeah.
Yeah, you're out in Utah. You're going to be at Door-to-Door Con this year, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
We love door.
Yeah, Door-to-Door Con's fun, man. I got a cool outfit. I'm getting ready for it. People know I'm always dressed to impress every year. Yeah, I love Door-to-Door Con. It's a fun experience. So if you guys are planning on showing up to D2D Con, you got a booth there, right? What? Let's say someone is like, I don't know anything. What would be the first thing you would do with these guys?
Yeah, first thing is to, just on the baby steps we just talked about, make sure we have an LLC set up, make sure we have some sort of record keeping or bookkeeping going. Again, both those things can be free. And then make sure they're connected. We have a client portal. You can literally just install our app on your phone, and that's how you can be connected with us. And we'll reach out come tax time to get taxes rolling. But those are some of the baby steps: is bookkeeping, LLC. Make sure those things are right. And then after that, depending on income level, we may need to look at professional bookkeeping, which we'll take care of, or tax strategy. We'll set up payroll at a certain income level. So we start to build up and scale it from there, depending on how much money they're bringing in.
Got it. Cool. So one-stop shop, man. You got to get your game together. Reach out to Austin, guys. Yeah, it's been a big confront for me. I know, honestly, when I first started, I just didn't like looking at my money. I just wanted to make as much as I can. Grant Cardone's like, you can't spend, if you're working, you can't spend it. So I was always working, never handled taxes. And, like after a couple of years, I'm like, gosh, dang, dude, I got to confront this thing. So it's really important. So if you're tuning in right now, just put it at the back of your mind, you're going to have to pay no matter what. I mean, guys can get away with a couple of years not paying, but eventually what happens? Like if you don't pay taxes at all, what happens?
Yeah, well, depending on the severity, right? Depends on how much income the IRS has on file for you, those different things. But yeah, you'll start getting letters. And eventually it can scale to, hey, we're going to put a lien on your house. We're going to seize assets. And we've had clients come to us literally like the IRS is sucking money out of their bank account, and they're just allowed to do that. So we've seen it there. I haven't had anyone come to us getting arrested or anything like that. That would be next level. But yeah, we've had a handful of clients come to us with IRS actively sucking money out of their account every day. So yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, so you can't get away from it. No. They're going to get you. Uncle Sam's getting that cash.
Yeah, we've had a lot of clients too that think that Donald Trump was going to come in and just abolish the IRS. We're going to have it again. That's not happening, guys. The IRS is here to stay. So don't live on those hopes and dreams, unfortunately.
Dude, Trump said that though. So I have to pay taxes now. Damn it, Trump.
Yeah, right.
I got hornswoggled. So what about crypto and all that? What do you know about taxes on that? I know there's a lot of crypto bros in here. I've got $40 in Bitcoin. Am I going to have to pay taxes on that? How does that work with crypto?
Well, Danny, when did you put that $40 into crypto? 5 years ago or last month? Because that's a very different number of what you have now.
Yeah, about a year ago.
Okay, nice.
I put a bunch of money into Trump coin, and then I got rug pulled by the president. So that was fun.
There you go.
I was like, dude, yeah, he's going to win. Let's put a bunch of money. And then I got rug pulled by Donald Trump. That kind of sucked.
Nice.
If you're watching this, how do we get our money? What do you do when you get rug pulled by the president of the United States on a crypto fund?
Yeah, I'm not sure how much we can do on that one, but treat crypto just like any other stock, right? You're buying it, you're going to sell it. If you hold it for more than a year, it's long-term capital gains. Under a year, it's short-term capital gains. And so again, this comes into tax planning and tax strategy, right? Hey, how much income do I have for my active income for my door-to-door business? How much money do I have from real estate? How much income do I have from capital gains? And some of those will go and offset each other. Some won't. And so it's really important. We can't take passive real estate losses against active income. Being a real estate professional, so it's really important to understand the three different types of income, how they work to offset each other. Again, comes down to having a good tax person in your corner, walking through that situation by situation.
Got it. So to summarize, you got to have a good tax person. And if you got rug pulled by the president, there's nothing we can do, really.
Yeah, I mean, there is opportunity to take, fraud losses. I don't know if the IRS is going to consider that a fraud loss or not, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to pick that battle with DJ, but DJT, that seems like a tough battle. Hey, comment right now, rug pull, if you got rug pulled by the president. If you bought Trump coin and you got rug pulled, go in there. I want to hear if you got a rug pulled by the president of the United States. That was fun. I have a question here. Have you heard of HDM Solar or Thrive?
HDM Solar Thrive.
They're a third party owned financing company that is in solar that gives people with low credit solar for dirt cheap. And it's getting popular right now. There's a lot of it going on where there's a big fund where they can take all of those capital gains. Do you know much about that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right here. Quick Google and Chat GPT will teach you a lot of stuff. Yeah, it looks like a lending option and a PPA option for homeowners. I guess is the question surrounding like PPAs and how do those work, or what's the question?
Yeah, so well, people generally know how they work. Do you know if that's legal right now? Because right now there's a big thing on people saying HDM legal, not legal. From a tax standpoint, I personally don't know one way or another. But from your standpoint, do you know much about it to comment, or probably not?
Probably not. I mean, if I'm looking at it right now, it just looks like another like third-party financing option. I don't see why that would create a problem or be illegal, but I'm not sure. I don't know if
there's more to it that someone told me, but I probably was scrolling TikTok and wasn't listening. So,
Got it.
Yeah.
I hear it. Yeah. Definitely something I'm willing to look into and read. If I can get some more content, I can give an opinion on this. But yeah, I'm sure there's more nuance to what I'm seeing right now. Just here on their websites really quickly. Yeah, it just looks like a PPA option or another option for financing, but it's straightforward to me. But I don't know. Yeah. Don't know enough to comment on it yet, Danny.
Got it. Good.
Danny, you're still there? Yes, Danny is frozen. Dang it. That's okay. I can run this show without Danny, can't I? Just kidding. Thank goodness Danny's back, I think. Danny, we can't hear you, though.
All right.
There we go.
Now, can you hear me now? My power went out at my house. And I have a backup battery on this. So I'm going to go on my phone, and we're going to finish this bad boy there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Great, man. So exciting times at the Petsy house. I have backup batteries. They just kicked off my computer. But yeah, so with that being said, guys, thank you so much. We're at the about 45 minute mark. So we want to thank Austin for coming in. Any final words for people that are tuning in right now that don't have their taxes? Where can guys find you if they're just like, hey, I need to get a tune-up. I got a guy who's not cutting it. Where can these guys find you?
Yeah, you find us on social media at Valley Tax, valleytaxandaccounting.com. I'm sure we'll put a phone number and email in the show notes or things like that for people to contact, a link to our virtual business card. So reach out, free consultation. Anyone coming from Danny, happy to meet and chat. Look, I think the biggest thing is, taxes don't have to be as scary as we think they sound, right? Like, I know it's a lot easier said than done. So I'm talking about your money, Danny, not mine. It's not as scary as it sounds, and we can figure it out and work through it together. Most of the time, it's just like with anything. It's just getting the ball rolling. That's the hardest part. Just putting that in a stretch, right? But I would say the last thing I have is I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I've learned a lot in my life that just because someone is a dentist doesn't mean they're a good dentist, right? And I would say the same thing about accounting professionals too. Is if you're wanting to, I don't know, go invest in some crazy thing over here that I have no experience in, like maybe don't hire me as the tax accountant to help you with this other investment. I don't know what I don't know that's out there. There's so many other things to invest in and do, right? But work with someone that actively knows what you're doing, that walks the walk. And I think it's the hard part. A lot of people talk in the industry and in entrepreneurship, but finding someone that actually walks the walk's a big deal, and knows what they're talking about. So I think that's why we've picked up and grown really fast in the door-to-door community site. I lived it. I've walked that walk. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of steps or doors I've knocked, but I'm an active real estate investor. So is my business partner, right? Like we're actively in these things, offsetting our own income from real estate. I've worked in the industry, and so if that's who you are and that's where you want to put effort and time, and energy, and saving time, like that's what we do all day long. But again, I wouldn't go to a heart surgeon for brain surgery, right? You probably should go to the brain surgeon for brain surgery. Kind of the
Yeah.
exact same with accountants, you know. Not all are the same. We're all a little bit different, and that's a good thing because there's different things out there. But tax aren't as scary as they have. It's not as scary. The IRS is not as scary as you think they are. Just one step at a time. We'll figure it out.
One step at a time. So that's the thing, guys. We're all making good money. Let's be smart with it. Get our taxes handled. Take care of Uncle Sam. So Austin, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll put some links where people can find you. And guys, episode 2, pretty much in the books. My power went out at my house, so I'm finishing this beautiful broadcast from my phone. So with that being said, we're going to say goodbye for this week. Next week, we're going to have another amazing episode, another great talk, bringing you guys value. As you guys know, this podcast has been brought to you by DealMachine, homeowner data. If you want to cherry pick homes and knock virtually, contact up DealMachine. Tell them what type of homes you want to hit. They're going to give you a list. You put it into your do not call list and start dialing. DealMachine, homeowner data, link in the comments. And second, if you're trying to build a team, Volition is my boys, Billy Virgie. Him and I used to run teams together back in the day at Vivid. He built out a recruiting company. So if you're looking to bring new people in and recruit a huge downline, contact up Volition. Links are in the comments. They'll help you grow a team and help you start making some overrides. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in this week. We'll see you guys on next week's podcast, episode 3 of the Big Beautiful Broadcast. Austin, thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.